Hi, today I want to reflect on my artworks from 2024 and talk about what I was doing, why I was painting, what I was painting, and in which direction I'm going to move on. So let's begin. That's not a finished painting. Since I'm from Ukraine, I am nervous a lot about the war and about what's happening. That was my feelings back then. Okay, let's move on. And I was at that time attending the evening course once a week in Academy of Art in Bergamo. The painting that I did there is this. It's quite realistic. I kind of like it, but I like only the result. I did not like the process. So many months that took me to paint this, because I was coming only once a week and between the layers they have to dry, etc., that I would already lose the interest in this painting. I felt only like, oh cool, I can show people and prove that I can paint technically good and I can depict the natural light and details and realistic paintings. Now I understand that there's stuff much deeper. Another painting that I did in Academy that was actually done a little bit earlier. It was a painting of clouds, which looks very realistically. Basically, when you put it on the wall, it looks like you printed a photo and you put the photo on the wall. Next stuff that I was painting in the Academy were these two paintings. Okay. They are identical, as you can see, and it was my experiment to test two ways of paintings, alla prima and by layers. I was trying to make absolutely the same result and see which way I like more. So that was an experiment. I did it, and it's kind of a still life painting. Okay. Then I painted that there's a painting of a mountain where we are currently living. Basically, the house is a little bit further there, and this is our car. And we was driving on the road, and it was a foggy weather, as it's often here. We was driving, and I decided, oh, can we stop? It's so beautiful. I want to take a photo. And I like this painting, despite I also did not enjoy painting it, but I did it. Since I was thinking a lot about war in Ukraine, I was thinking, what can I do to help Ukraine? And I decided that I can paint a project of like a set of paintings that are telling stories about the war and make an exhibition with these paintings to encourage people to talk about the war, to think about it, this topic, etc. I started painting the stories of animals that happened on the war. I was crying a lot while doing this because it is very tragic stories. This is one of the paintings that I did. It's a story of a dog, husky, that was found in a shooted car. She was waiting for her owners that never came. It happened during occupation of Bucha in 2022. I was probably 100 of kilometers away from Bucha when this happened. I was in Kiev in the volunteer center helping militaries. Hearing much more war stories than this happening just like 1 hour by car from you is heartbreaking and scary, and I wanted to tell one of those stories, make people feel and understand what the war is. There was no photo like this. Photo was completely different. So there is shattered glass of front window of the car. You can see here a sign when you're driving into the city. And here in the mirror of the car you can see the tank, and this dog was hiding in the car and sleeping on the like broken glass. So this was a story, and this painting was in the gallery in Bergamo on a small exhibition, not a solo exhibition. It was a exhibition when a lot of artists are placing their artworks, and this one of two artworks that I participated with. And another painting about the war from that project, it's my uncle, non-binary person, and she is in the military, helping to defend Ukraine. Originally she is a director of a theater and a performer. Despite her creative career, she decided to go and join the military troops with her partner. This is a story of her holding a cat that they went and took at night from a bombed house. This is a moment of her holding that cat, and I guess it was the first portrait in oil paint that I did. It also was exhibited in the Sala Manzù gallery in Bergamo. This was another painting that I did not finish from the work collection. This is a Dog Crimea that's sitting next to the destroyed building where the whole family of this dog died. And this was extremely hard for me to paint because it symbolizes how much pain people are going through, because this dog goes through so much pain as every person who was forced to get out from occupied territory and who lost their house, their families, and who doesn't have home anymore. That is so heartbreaking. I'm from Crimea and I cannot go home. I'm so detached from my family, and I cannot visit the places where I grew up because it's occupied. It's very dangerous to go there, especially for me since I'm supporting Ukraine. So these two paintings are the only paintings that are finished from the war project. I started some other paintings, but later I went on the workshop that pretty much changed my point of view on art itself. Okay, let's move on. I had another project that was quite not realistic. It was from my mind. This project I call post-depression project. I was getting out of depression and healing, and I attended the Wim Hof method workshop when we were meditating, breathing, and swimming in the icy water. And during one of the meditations, I had these pictures that I went and drew immediately. I made some sketches, and then I decided to paint them. And there is a third one and this one. So these three paintings is what I have seen when I did the meditation. I would say everything started from me looking from my eye, like little me in my head was like, let's open our eyes on this war. I know there is everything on fire, there's a lot of problems, but let's look at this. Let's deal with the fire that is happening there. And then it was this painting of me going into the world with this orange and violet view, like a sunset kind of setup with little hills. There were these towers, the black towers, that were symbolizing the problems. For some reason, I don't know why, the idea was if you climb the tower to the top, it means that you solved the problem. Once you climbed it, it goes down, the tower eliminated because you solved the problem. Another painting, it was a dragon that was flying around in that space, and it was not attacking me, but it was looking at me, and it was like, I'm here, what are you going to do with me? Later when I thought about it, I thought, this is a depression that I have, this like dragon, this snake, it's a depression. It was up to me to decide what do I do with this snake, and this is how I decided to depict it. And this was my post-depression project. It was very interesting experience. I still like these paintings. And then I went on the workshop with Andrew Faulkner, who is an amazing contemporary landscape artist and who gave me the experience of looking at art completely different. So one of the paintings that I have done on the workshop was this, which I like. It was completely imagination. First paintings that I have done on the workshop, they were so disturbing me. I could not accept work that I have done that is not technically like high level. Andrew talked to me and he helped me to realize how I'm seeing art and what trauma happened with me in the childhood that made me think that paintings are only good and you're only a good artist when you put a lot of technical skills into painting. And if you do something like with a palette knife here and there with a finger, it's not a painting, it's not worth to be called you're an artist. So realizing that moment in my childhood, I figure out that it like unlocked my point of view on how I see art, and it allowed me to start enjoying making paintings from a perspective of you're feeling and express yourself on the canvas instead of like taking a photo and depicting it like step by step, like visually, technically, blah blah blah. It symbolizes this liberation from the concept that good artist is only that one that paints realistic. And there were a few other artworks like with the tree I liked, but I was kind of it was kind of illustrative, it was not like an abstract art. And another one with a window I also liked. It was better in the sense of how I was working with a palette knife. So it was interesting experimentation. And then I came home. While coming home, I got a message from my uncle that her stuff got completely burnt because the rocket destroyed the blindage where they were staying. This was a painting that I did about the war in Ukraine, and this time I was approaching it with a tactic that Andrew taught me. Next one, I again went into meditation. I painted this because I wanted to depict how fragile world is. And it's again about the war, it's again about me looking at the non-stability of a world. And this is the world, and it's like a cube that is standing on one corner. And this is me, little human, if you can see here, standing. And it can fall and squish you at any moment. And it's so unstable that if wind blows the wrong way, it will fall and crash. And that was me trying to depict feelings in an abstract way. To move next, and then went to another workshop, but this time it is Andrii. It's a painter from Ukraine who have made this workshop in Florence. It was a plein air painting workshop, and we went in Florence and painted a few locations. It was an interesting experience, but Andrii paints quite realistically, and that did not resonate with me anymore after Andrew Faulkner workshop. And I still appreciated how much efforts he can put in the painting, and it's cool that some artists are enjoying painting realistically. I don't have any problems with someone else painting realistically. It's just like I realized that it's not my way, probably. And I still try to learn how he depicts stuff, how fast he can take the reality, the real light, the real picture, and depict it on the canvas. And one of the paintings that I have done was this, because at the beginning of the workshop it was very rainy, so we were under the roof in Florence, and I chose to paint this corner. Yeah, I don't like this painting. I don't like it. It was interesting to experiment, but it is not finished, or I just don't like the idea, or I don't like the approach that I chose. Another one was with a window. I will put it here because it's not anywhere here. And a third painting that I painted was a tree painting, and I gave it as a gift to my teacher of Italian, so I don't have it anymore. And then once I come from the workshop, I started to go plein air, so I mixed an experience from 2 workshops and I went outside to experiment. And I actually filmed the experience of going on the plein air and painting this, and if I'm going to edit that video and post it, I will attach it where it's going to be here, there, here, there. I'll attach it here. Here was the first time I used this technique with spraying white spirit on the canvas. And then, and this one. I went on another plein air painting and I painted this. It is more detailed than previous one, but I really like it, and it's a patch of light on the mountains because it was very cloudy, and the little light was highlighting this grass. So this was that. Another painting that I have done was this one, also on the plein air, and I was experimenting with simplification, so I was using only like a big brush. It was on the sunset in the summer, and I really like how the mountain works, but I did not like how I made this like houses. And later there was a break that I was not painting anything, and then I have done a very powerful painting because I was super angry at Russians. I was pissed. I wanted to fight because of the war. I wanted to defend Ukraine, and that was a moment when I painted a self-portrait, which I think is the best painting of my 2024 year because of how powerful it depicts my feelings, because of how brave I was with the choice of color. I did it just in 1 hour, and I depicted perfectly my state of mind, like strong, resilient, somehow like pissed and angry, and like kind of like ready to fight, like a warrior. This is a very powerful painting, I think. And later I decided that I want to take my career more seriously, art career. It is time to grow a social community, and it is time to be consistent, stable, paint more often, paint not only my feelings, because it can be quite hard to paint this kind of artwork every week or so to make content, or it is hard to be stable with it because this comes whenever your feelings are getting accumulated enough and you just express them on the canvas. This might happen once in 3 months. It's not something that it comes to me every week. So, and I want to paint more often. So I wanted to have a habit to paint daily, and this is how I started to approach these mini paintings. And oops. So, and I started to paint these small little paintings of whatever I see in my daily life. This is a time when I started to paint regularly and post more often on social media, and started to grow my Instagram account. This is a tunnel painting. Since this kind of paintings I started to sell them, so I made a website and I started to put them on the website and started like open sales of my paintings. That was my cat. This is Riva di Solta, little cute town in Italy where we once went. Lemons that I took a photo of in Florence in one of the restaurants. This is Lovere, a little cute town on the lake Iseo with a dog walker. And this is Onetta. This is a little town where I live. It's literally windows of our neighbors. And it's very cute at night where you can see the silhouettes of mountains and the lights in the houses. And this is a peak of a mountain that is next to me here. It was very beautiful in the summer and I wanted to practice to paint rocks and cliffs. So this is this painting. And then more paintings. I don't remember exactly the order of them. Let me try. Then we went on a hike. This one is my favorite. It's abstract. I just like how freely I put the brushstrokes here. Then the Inktober started and I started to paint with another art challenge, daily painting challenge, and I painted a few artworks by references that were provided by other artists. And this one with yarn I like a lot because I also like knitting, and this one is with mocha coffee pot. Then there was another artist who was providing references with flowers, and I actually tried to paint this bouquet of flowers that I really like. And another one, then I was painting one of my ideas. This is a roof that I can see from my window every day, and I wanted to paint it for a long time already, and I decided to paint it. And this is a yellow house that is down the road in Onetta. That looks very cute, and I painted it first and it was ugly, and then I made it better, and then I made a reel on Instagram how I changed this painting. It went very cool. And this one is Autumn Forest. I really like when I'm painting with this easy feeling of like just don't overthink, just paint. And this rose, which I took a photo of in our garden. The photo was shit, but I made it better by painting it. Another painting that I did, a mini painting of this forest that I really like. When we went on the hike to Dolomites, there was like a really beautiful forest. And this was also the house. And I like how I made this like a little bit of snow on the yellow grass. Cool, I like the combination of colors here. And this painting I like a lot. Also like Dolomiti, when we went a little bit up, there was a little house and it was like a little trail going there in the forest. And yeah, so... And then I did this painting just randomly from a photo in the gallery. I decided I want to paint a little house. And and the last 4 paintings. These 4 paintings you have already seen in my other video. Just shortly we'll show it here. This is a series of small human series where I depict the scale of human size comparing to mountains. And you can learn more about this project from my video here. The story of 4 paintings, and this is my favorite. This is Hikers on the Break, this girl that walks in the fog. So that's it. That's what I painted. At the end of the year, I kind of like made a lot of small paintings that helped me to figure out what my style is. I really like square format. It helped me to simplify the way I approach the canvas, because if I every time approach different rectangle shapes, different scale, it was confusing me, and I was not skilled enough to approach these varieties. So when I stick to, okay, I'm painting always small paintings, square small paintings, it helped me to stabilize and organize myself while I'm approaching painting. So that's it. That was a review and reflections on my artworks from 2024, the stages that I went through, and my new vision of art. Now I'm doing abstract pages in my sketchbook and more portraits in a more abstract way. Probably that is where I'm going to go in the next year. And I'm also planning the trip to Ukraine for 3 months. I'm planning to go for plein air there and to paint more of Ukrainian landscapes that I'm really excited to see. And if you want to see all my artistic adventures, follow me on YouTube and on Instagram. I will try to be consistent. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one. And let me know which artworks you like the most, because it's really interesting to know what do you think about all of these stages. And if you have any stories, any thoughts that you had about my artworks, please share them. It will be very interesting for me to read. I read every comment, I reply to everybody. So leave a comment below, tell me what you think about my art, or what you have similar in your life. And yeah, thank you for watching again.